You as a leader, you are not going to do it. You can't. You can't do everything by yourself. Can you?
Of course not. You need a team to tango. Welcome to Reimagining You, the podcast that goes beyond job titles and business cards to explore what it truly means to lead with purpose, presence, and personal truth. My guest today is Hortense Le Gentil, a globally recognized executive coach, former corporate leader, and best-selling author known for helping transform hero leaders into human leaders. Since the age of 3, you've been drawn to horses, right? You have learned a lot from the horses.
If you want your horse to follow you, you can use force. Good luck. Good luck with that because, 500 kilos, Or you find a way to connect with your horse. Yeah, it's all about leadership. It's all about, your team. So you prepare your team, you work with your team, you communicate correctly with your team, you find your way to communicate. So it's all about that. It's all about trust, how you create trust. You ask me, why I have authority. I just learned just to say, I don't know, so please teach me. And this is how I create the trust. This is how I learn that being human and vulnerable is just great. And you don't have to try to have all the answers. That's not true. So be the leader you want to be. Show up as you want as a leader. Take the time to think about it and start the journey.
Welcome to Reimagining You, the podcast that goes beyond job titles and business cards to explore what it truly means to lead with purpose, presence, and personal truth. I'm your host, Dr. Elie Daher, and today we begin a new chapter. This is season 2, and before we dive in, I want to pause and thank each and every one of you who joined us on this journey. In just 3.5 months, Reimagining You became more than a podcast. It became a movement. 21 episodes every Thursday, over 500,000 views, and a growing family of 81,000 subscribers across the globe. Your support, your messages, your shares, they made it possible. Thank you. My guest today is Hortense Le Gentil, a globally recognized executive coach, former corporate leader, and best-selling author known for helping transform hero leaders into human leaders. Her journey from show jumping in Normandy to coaching top CEOs is anything but typical. And neither is her impact. Backed by her groundbreaking MindTrap, MindShift, MindBuild, the 3M coaching model, Hortense helps leaders align with their true selves, shifting from fear to clarity, from control to trust, and from performance to presence. This is actually more than an interview or an episode. It's actually a masterclass in authentic leadership. So, Hortense, welcome to Reimagining You.
Thank you for having me, Elie. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Before we start, I'm just intrigued in your start and where you are now in your journey. So because since the age of 3, you've been drawn to horses, right? Not just riding them, but understanding them. And I think you were a show champion at some stage in your life, right? Mm-hmm. Because this passion led you to the way to competitive show and winning. Hopefully you won a lot of medals.
I try my best, at least.
Yeah, but yet decades later, here you are coaching some of the world top CEOs. So that transition really fascinates me. Can you give me an understanding? How do you go from being with horses, enjoying the Normandy, and to going to coaching?
Yeah, I took the scenic roads, Elie. So I couldn't know that, when I was young. But so I was born, yes. Well, I was born and raised in France, as you said, and surrounded by horses. And I did a lot of show jumping. It was my passion, my love. And I walked a lot because, when you do show jumping, when you compete, you have to walk a lot. And then I didn't realize at that time, but in fact, I learned everything about leadership But of course, I didn't realize. This is now what I can say. But so I was there and grew up like that. It was my first passion. Then my second passion was the America, the U.S., the dream, dream of a better life or freedom, whatever it was. And then I went. I studied both marketing in Paris and in Boston at Northeastern University. And I came back in Paris. I worked for a corporate for a long time, for a decade. Advertising agencies. I worked, for for magazines, for fashion magazines. Nothing to do with what I'm going to do now. But I learned. I learned everything. I learned, what I liked, didn't like. And then one day I became an entrepreneur. So I decided to go back to my first dream. When I was 20, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I was an entrepreneur for a decade. I started from scratch. Then you're going to tell me that I have something with decade. Yes, I do. Obviously. Then I was, for a decade, I was an entrepreneur. I learned so much. I had a business partner. It was a recycling steel industry. Nothing to do with what I learned, but really, I learned everything also here. And then one day, I woke up in the morning and I said, I have to change again. Something was moving. And, I'm so curious. That's my problem. I just want to learn more and more every day. I want to learn. I want to evolve. I want to have fun. I want to create. I want something new. So after a while, I feel like, okay, so I have to go, leave my comfort zone in a way and go somewhere else. And then I'm a big believer in science and meeting people. And then at that moment, a friend of mine came to me and told me, okay, could you help a friend of mine because he's an entrepreneur and he needs some help. And you like so much to help people. You're so good at that. I was surprised. That's true that I like to help people. And he told me, by the way, you should be a coach. And I just told him, I love you, but you know what? I would never be a coach. I don't even know what is a coach about. And then I am an entrepreneur and I'm good. But he put a seed in my brain. And then I was thinking, because I was in that mood of, okay, what next? Mm-hmm. So you are in that mood. You are very, very aware of everything. And, if something, makes sense somewhere, stay there. Because maybe there is something. And then I went to see this friend. But I said, okay, let's imagine I am a coach. I put this, this cap, this hat on my head. And I said, okay, let's try. And after 1 hour, it was like a miracle, Elie. It was even physically, it was like I was extending myself, and everything made sense in my life. And I felt, gosh, I can help people. And I love that, and I'm good at that. And then I felt, this is my calling. All those roads, scenic roads, I didn't understand why, and people around me didn't understand me. It was hard to follow, and she did that and that and that and that. Sometimes myself, I was thinking, where I'm going? I don't know, because I was just feeling, what I felt was good for me to grow, what was the next step. And here we go. Because all I learned was here to help others. And then I started for a decade again.
Beautiful journey.
To be a coach, write books, and so on and so on and so on. And I'm still there.
Beautiful journey. So, if I distill this really, and for our audience and viewers, really, it's, the first step in finding your personal brand is define your mission. And for you, you were always seeking knowledge. You wanted to learn more and more. You wanted to be more challenged. till you took a bold step on trying something different because somebody told you, why don't you try it? And you were bold enough, courageous to actually take that and try it. So, for our audience and viewers, don't be shy, don't be scared. If you have a calling, if you find something that you might be interested, just try it. Even Elon Musk says, try and fail fast, right? And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, or anything that you have today to grow and apply in business. What do you think? What should we tell the folks that are listening and viewing us in finding that mission?
I think first thing I will say, take your time, because it's not obvious sometimes, really. When you see, it took me a long time. Sometimes it's obvious. Okay, good for you. So you're a happy person. Most of the time it is not. So I will just recommend to follow what makes sense to you right now. Okay. If you feel everything inside yourself, that everything resonates, and you feel comfortable in a way, but you feel like I have to do it. I don't know why. You cannot imagine how many times, I thought, I talked to myself. I say, you know what? You don't know why you do that, but you have to do it. And then if you feel that, or if you feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like I should do it, follow the flow. Doesn't mean that you have to change everything sometimes. It just mean, I don't know, you wake up in the morning and you feel, I just want to, I don't know, take class of photography.
Why not?
Go ahead. Because you have
Exactly.
to pick something from it, from that. So
Passion.
reflect, think about it, and okay, what makes sense to you today that you don't do and you would like to do?
Perfect. I used, now we're in September 2025. I have to mark that date because AI is changing fast, right? So I used Claude.ai to do my research on you. Are you familiar with Claude?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So Claude gave me about, 62 pages about Hortense. But one thing caught my eye is that you have learned a lot from the horses and you said horses cannot speak. So you have to learn the nonverbal cues, which is the body language, body posture, emotional energy, eye contact. I love that because that's really the sense of coaching or leadership. When we talk about emotional intelligence, or you have to have those nonverbal cues and decipher them. So tell me more about this.
When you are with your horse, so as I said, a horse doesn't speak. If you want your horse to follow you, you can use force. Good luck. Good luck with that, because 500 kilos. I couldn't do that for sure. Or you find a way to connect with your horse. It's everything. It's about how you communicate with your horse. It's you feeling, the horse is feeling, what you're feeling. Your order are very clear, so you want to go there. You help the horse, to be better. You communicate with your legs, your hands, your language. Sometimes you talk to the horse, but it's all about, okay, how do you feel, my horse? This is what I want to do. Are you okay? How do you feel? Do you trust me? Yes or no? If you don't have trust with your horse, it doesn't work. And then when you prepare, for example, to jump an obstacle, what you do is you spend hours with before to train with your horse, to train to know exactly what you mean. When you do that, it means
Okay.
that, it means that. And then you're here, and then you prepare the horse, and the horse knows that you're going to you are going to jump, because he knows you learn together, and then he's prepared, and then three steps before the obstacles, then you, as a driver, as a rider, you don't move anymore. You can't do anything.
Okay.
Either the horse got it and wants and have the heart to do it, and he's going to do perfectly because you prepared, and you prepared perfectly, but now you have to trust him. And then it's all together. You're here, but you don't move. You're here, and then the horse, is jumping. And then when the horse is jumping, it's you are one.
Okay.
One together. And then you give the impulse, but after, he's going to jump, he's going to fly. And then, hop, you look at your vision. So you look at next obstacle, you are already to the next obstacle. So it's all about leadership.
Yes.
It's all about, your team. So you prepare your team, you work with your team, you communicate correctly with your team, you find your way to communicate, you're here. You take time, a lot of time, to understand, the person in front of you, who you are, what the person needs, the mood of the person, because I can tell you that sometimes, the horse in a bad mood and he doesn't want to, because I don't know, maybe, he has pain, or just because he's a being also. And then same with your team. So you have to care about your team, to understand if Elie today is in a bad mood and is going to do is all right, and or if Elie needs some help or sometimes because something happened, because we are a human being. So it's all about that. It's all about trust. How you create trust. How do you create in your three steps before the obstacles? You as a leader, you are not going to do it. You can't. You can't do everything by yourself. Can you?
Mm-hmm. Of course not. You need a team to tango.
So you need a team. So your team, if your team, is well prepared, if you work together, you trust them, that's fine. Let them jump and think about, the next obstacle. All about leadership.
Great metaphor. I love it. That's why it just caught my eye, which is a great metaphor for people to reflect on, and a simple example, yet it's so powerful on leadership. Now we're going to talk, I think this probably is the foundation of what you advocate, which is called the human leadership. And we are really in a world that is obsessed with hero leadership. And you said you want to transform hero leaders to human leaders. So before we talk what makes you authority in that subject, why is this shift so hard for many to move from being, the hero leader, the guy who, or the person who's driving and is going and achieving, to being a human leader?
You have so many questions in one question.
Yeah. No, leave the other ones after.
Okay. So let's start maybe with you ask me, why I have authority. I think is, my story. I did it, so I couldn't pretend to have. I knew and I had all the answers, especially at the time when I was I was an entrepreneur in a steel recycling industry. So no, I couldn't. I just learned, just to say, I don't know, so please teach me, to my engineers. And this is how I created trust. Because I knew what I knew, so I was good at, leadership, I was good at marketing, I was good at that, but I was not an engineer. Then I think, so I think this is how I learned that being human and vulnerable is just great, and you don't have to try to have all the answers. That's not true. And also from my experience as a leader and as a coach, to lead a lot of CEOs or entrepreneurs or people who wants to get better at. And why should we? And why that is because for me, superhero is great, but Superman is fantastic for the movies, but not for the not for the boardroom.
That's a nice,
Okay.
another metaphor. That's nice.
Yeah. So and by the way, Superman has also wears underwear on his clothes, so he's also vulnerable. And so yeah, so behind that, the world changed very fast. And people, they want, the world completely change, and the AI is going to change, and COVID, and everything changed fast. Then you can't have all the answer. You can try. Good luck for you. You can't. That's not possible. So it's really all together that we are going to create tomorrow and go step, a day after a day, and step by step create tomorrow. So I think that nobody can pretend to know. Or they can, I mean, but it's because, for me, it's because they are afraid. Or not courageous. Yes, they are not courageous enough to be human. And then so stop pretending and just be.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. And people, this is what they want. They want to connect with you. They want to know you, because this is how you create trust and how you communicate with people.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. We talked about the mission, and we talked about what makes you credible is really finding your uniqueness. And that's really a message to the viewers and audience, because that's really, after you define the mission, then why you? And it's a good time to reflect for them, okay, if they want a voice, they want to be visible. Why them? What makes them unique? And you answered very well the question, but for them, I think it will take them great reflection to find out why they're so special, what makes them credible, what gives them the authority, what gives them the place and time to actually speak about, whether it's thought leadership, whether it's an opinion. And that's a great segue to the third step, which is, now they've deciphered the mission and the authenticity and credibility. Now we need to give them a voice. And sounds like, I think the answer is in your new book, Unlocked Leader, because I think you invite others to free their voice. So tell us, what can we learn from the Unlocked Leader, which I didn't finish it, I must admit, but I read big part of it.
Thank you.
What can we take away from that book that help the audience and the viewers in unleashing their voice?
I think all the book is about how you unlock yourself. So the first step is to face our fears. That's okay to be afraid. So don't pretend that it doesn't exist. Of course, all of us, we are afraid because it's part of being a human being. So that's good news. You are not a robot yet. So face your fears. Be courageous enough to start the journey, because it's a journey. Don't think that, in 1 minute and a half, you take one error and okay, you get there. No, it's a journey. But you have to take the first step. And the first step is to fear your fears. Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? And then you're maybe afraid of failure. You're afraid of chaos. You are used to do one way, to lead one way. Maybe you're very successful that way. And you feel, why should I change? It's scary, and the change is scary. So face your fears and have a conversation with your fear. I like to say, invite the fear to the table, have a conversation, talk to them. Okay, I know you're here, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. So that's the first step. The first step is that. Mm-hmm. Decide if you are courageous enough to start the journey. So you face your fears. The second thing is, okay, so now you start your journey. Find where you are trapped, what I call a mind trap. A mind trap is something you used to do. It's a behavior. It's, or just, a voice that you're used to. Maybe it helped you until now, but it doesn't help you anymore. It's a bit like, remember when you were young, I don't know about you, but me.
Many decades ago.
Yeah, me too. But when I learned how to bike, I had some weird
The two wheels, assisting
yeah,
wheels.
well, two wheels, yeah, assisting
Yeah.
things. Thank you. And yeah, we needed it, because we were very very small. And then one day, up, which your parents took off those, and then okay, you can go and you can ride and you can be free. Same here. So maybe you have some wheel support that probably, by the way, more than probably, you have support wheels and you are not aware of it or not aware of it, but you are trapped there and you cannot go for moving forward. So the first thing is, okay, find your mind trap. Where are you trapped? And the second thing is, so what is your mind trap? So I talk about it, and where it's coming from. So track the source. So where it's coming from can come from trauma or other voices, or education, society, whatever. And after you challenge the voice behind the trauma, or the voice behind the person who say that, is it true? Is it relevant? Is it helpful? So this is a process of mind trap, find the source, challenge, what I called, a mind shift, and then you're ready to write your own story. So it's all the book. I can detail, but this is, the frame of the book.
Perfect. No, it's an important aspect, because fear is what dominates today's executives to really find their mission, their voice, their ambition. They have fear from all sorts of things, of losing a job. They've got a family, they've got maybe financial implications, but they're trapped, and they're trapped in a comfort trap, as we say, because they're really waiting for that paycheck to live month by month, maybe, or building a comfortable family. But then they're missing out on a lot of dreams. And this is, and I need to clarify one thing, because I always get that same question. I don't advocate people to leave from their work and to go into their ambition and become a consultant, entrepreneur, create business or whatever. You can still find your own voice, overcome your fears, develop your visibility while you're at work, and then, because your company will also benefit from that. 86% of companies who have a CEO or C-suite members that have a better personal brand, customers trust them more, and they actually buy more from them. So I just want to make sure that we clarify that I'm not advocating neither or. But fear is the dominating factor for everybody. And I think as you grow older, as you have more entrenched fear. Do you agree?
No, completely. I wanted to jump on that because we're not. I don't advocate. Also, it's my story, but my story is my story. So it's not your story. So and this is fine. What I learned is leadership is where you are. Leadership is when you decide to lead your life. It's all about empathy, and empathy starts with yourself. So empathy, it's feeling with, and then be connected with yourself. This is what we are talking. We are talking about. It's being yourself. So be the leader you want to be. Show up as you want as a leader. Take the time to think about it and start the journey. This is what we are talking about. And when we talk about the fears, it could be a fears to lead, but everyone is a leader, by the way, because at least you are the leader of your life. You decide how you want to show up, for you, for your environment. And then if we go back to the work environment, as a leader, what kind of leader you want to be?
Yeah.
And then I often say, because I'm coaching a lot of CEOs, and when they get a job, This is a new job, completely new job. It's not, you don't do anymore, like, the horse metaphor. You don't do anymore. You're here for people. You're here to empower people. You're here to help people. You're here to have the vision, of course. You have the vision. You give, you guide that. You are the guide, but you don't do. And then you have to change your mindset and think about, okay, what kind of leader I want to be? How I want to be remembered? What is important for me? Because people are not going to remember you because you increased, the Wall Street, share. It's because they felt empowered. They felt
Yes, of course.
trust, care. So it's time. And then even that, this is scary for a lot of people because it's completely changing the way you lead. You are so used to give orders or to do. Okay, I know how to do that. I'm going to do that. Of course, if you're in position of leadership and if you are a CEO, chances are you are very good at something. And that's great. Then you continue that. But now you have to learn how to be human, how to connect with people, what you want to do for people, what are your values, and then you start there. And the fears are there because you are not used to do it.
Yes, and that reminds me of something that actually builds on what you said. People don't remember you of what you've achieved and what you've done. People remember you but how you made them feel, right?
Yes.
So, and exactly that human leadership is all about, I guess, right?
Yes, completely. And
Yeah.
and another saying is that a leader isn't measured by the number of followers they have, but the number of leaders they create.
Uh-huh.
Think about it.
Yes.
Think about it. That's not about you. It's about them.
That's why I have low numbers on LinkedIn followers.
Me too.
So let's talk about you owning the stage and owning your voice and showing up in front of people. You deliver a lot of speeches, keynote speeches, conferences, you name it. You're pretty well thought of as a speaker. But most of us, listeners and viewers, are that we have stage fright or stage fear. So what do you do internally to own your voice and show up fully? Give us some tips and tricks.
That's also is a journey.
Okay.
Because I remember the first time I wanted to give an interview. To take an if I mean to speak with someone. It was Marshall. It was also with Marshall Goldsmith at that time, and I couldn't speak because I was so afraid that people could listen to me. Then I cut myself. It's not possible. So it's a journey. So what I do is I prepare myself. So I prepare a lot. So I prepare what are the questions, what I want to say, blah, blah, blah. And then also I think about what is the main message I want to give, tonight, today, whatever, on stage, how I want to help them. And what I do is I have a routine that I recommend to everyone to have a routine, by the way. And you have your daily, what I call your daily rendezvous with yourself. It's a routine. So it's a place where I do a lot of breathing, meditation, visualization, and I do things, that give me energy. And then it's a way to concentrate for me. And then I'm ready. And then after I just enter, start where I need to start, and I try to connect with people. So in fact, I try to connect before I am on stage.
Okay.
So I try to imagine, even if I don't see this is fine. But I mean, I try to imagine I'm already there before to be here.
Mm-hmm.
If
Nice
it makes
tip.
sense.
Oh yeah, of course. I'll
Yeah,
I'll
which
try
one is
that.
different?
I'll try that one next time.
Okay.
Thank you for
You
the
tell me.
tip. Yes.
Sure. You
I'm
tell
gonna
me.
talk about the commonality that you see because you coach a lot of CEOs. Is there any common thread between all the CEOs or most of the CEOs that they struggle with? Can you share one for people to know that, oh, it's not only me, it's also these folks too?
Yeah, I think the first one is it's hard for everybody to show vulnerability
Mm,
and to understand what that means exactly, and to be human and to just let go, the layers that we have. Um, yeah, it's hard for everybody.
I
But
love
they are
that.
courageous. Mm.
I love that. Vulnerability,
Mm.
being courageous to admit and show your true self. Be authentic, right?
The authenticity. Authenticity is for me a big
Yeah.
word. Empathy, authenticity,
So I guess
human.
a quote or a phrase that you wish every executive to write on their wall is be authentic
Be
or
Be human. Be
be human.
human.
Okay.
That's so easy. Nobody think about it, but it's very
Yes.
easy. It's just be human. So we are just human beings. We do things, you work for human beings. You create things, for human beings. So why don't be human? And especially because, AI, you were talking about that before, AI and robots, are growing so fast and learning so fast. What is going to make the difference is your humanity,
Of course, your
is your
uniqueness. That's
empathy.
your empathy.
Yeah,
Empathy, adaptability, creativity.
yeah,
That's the three future of work leadership traits.
yes,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
exactly,
I'm going to talk
exactly.
about networking because I'm going to seek your advice on that. So,
Okay.
networking. So, a lot of the leaders that I see and chat with, they go to conferences, they're in their social circle, and it's an event of business card exchange to get to meet the person. Hello, I'm Elie Daher. Hello, you're Hortense. What do you do? What I do, and then we just chat a little bit about our professional life.
Mm-hmm.
And what goes on in their mind or each other's mind is that how can I benefit from that person? How can I benefit from Hortense? I met her.
Mm.
How can I benefit from Hortense? And if I don't see any benefit, well, glad to meet you. And then I move on and I work the
Mm.
room.
Mm.
And I see that everywhere.
Mm.
Now, I had the same question I've asked to a lot of my guests. And I would like to listen to you. What does it mean to network? What's the definition of networking for you? If you're in a social gathering or you're in a conference, or how do you build your network, and what's the definition of network? Because that's another struggle.
I agree with you. That's not easy. Um, for me, networking is more about, so now where I am, maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
because also, I'm aging. Where I am is I love to meet people, but I don't use anymore the networking, words, because
Mm.
yes, it's all about what can I do. No, it's more about let's see if I can meet great people. What do we have in common? And maybe
Mm-hmm.
what can we do together? And
Nice.
this is always, my mindset. I say, okay. And I'm a very, I trust, the universe, let's say, to bring me the right person. And then, if I talk with someone, I say, oh, so I'm very exciting. I say, okay, what do you do? Whatever. And then if I feel that I should go, continue the conversation, I continue the conversation and I see where we land. And that's okay. And if it doesn't land anywhere, it's fine.
Mm.
But yeah, this is more how I approach things right now. I feel like from my experience is I'm here. I'm not the best person at networking, I have to say, but I'm just here and available and curious to meet you and curious to know. So maybe we can do something together. Maybe I can do something for you, or maybe just this conversation is helping you, and that's enough for me. And that's all, because my goal in life, you understood that now, that is to help you. So if I can help, I'm here. And I'm happy. You make me happy. So, if I'm happy, I hope you're happy. And that everybody's happy. And I can move forward.
Very good, very good. Okay, nice. You know that we have a couple more questions before we close. So I want to ask you two things. I carry the flag of unlearn to relearn. I go in every meeting with the CEO, with every conference, keynote, I bring in unlearn to relearn. Partly because at my age, at my seniority, I have amassed a lot of baggage, a lot of old methodologies, a lot of experiences that once they served their purpose, they worked. But today, because of the whole change dynamic, because of the revolution of technologies and AI, because of Gen Z coming into play, there's a lot of changes. And some of my old experiences and methodologies and proven and tested processes don't work. So I had to learn the hard way to unlearn some of those and relearn, maybe from young people, and be vulnerable and admit that, hey, this is good. Let me listen to this person and relearn from them. So what is something that you had to unlearn yourself recently to stay fresh and connected?
Oh, it's almost every day. But I mean, I would not say unlearn, because but I would say that my latest things is to learn how to let go more. So let's say unlearn to be too much with people and let go, especially when you are close to people, and learn how to let go more others. So I think there was a lesson where I am today and what I try to work on lately. But I try to unlearn a lot in my life, because if I go back to, I changed a lot, a part of my life at one point was when I was, midlife. It was difficult professionally and personally. And then I had a dream. And my grandmother that I just loved came back. She passed away at that time, but you just loved, you would love my grandmother. She was so wise, so nice. But she came to me in my dream and she told me, Hortense, you have to find the path of roses. I said, what is that? Path of roses? I don't know what it is. And she just, looked at me. And I said, okay, so tell me where it is. And then she just smiled at me. And she said, you know where it is. And, I woke up, I was completely furious. I would do, okay, grandma, she didn't tell me, she looked like she knew, and she doesn't tell me what to do. And then I would learn later that what she meant was so important. She meant listen to your inner voice, because you know what to do. So go back to what we started with. You know what to do, and you need the courage to do it. And then when I started, I took the first step, and at that time, I changed everything and I became an entrepreneur. I started to free myself. I started to unlearn, as you say, everything and to relearn what was good for me. So it was like I was feeding myself again. It took time, as we said. It took time, but everything fed me, and everything that resonated with me, I took it, in my new life. So the canvas was, I had a white canvas, and I wrote, every day I wrote something, or a new picture, new friends, new whatever. It was a new me. But this is what I encourage everybody to do, not to leave everything and things like that. Again, you don't have to do that. But think about, okay, what you learn and doesn't help you anymore. You are trapped there. I was trapped. And this is what we are talking about. Being trapped somewhere. And challenge it. And be courageous. Start it. Even Yoda, in Star Wars said, you have to unlearn, what did he say? You have to unlearn to relearn. So, no, he said, you have to unlearn or something like that. But okay, he said that too.
Well, even in space, they do that, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's beautifully said, though. I think this is a great reflection and a key message for our audience and viewers, because that was actually my last question: is what you're going to be advising them and giving them a tip. And find your path of roses, listen to your inner voice, it's there.
Yeah.
And then take the courage to actually take few steps, bold steps forward, without disturbing everything and leaving everything, but take a calculated steps and move on and be bold.
Yeah, exactly. Start the journey right now, and to face your fears step by step, day by day. You don't have to change in one day. But I encourage you to, right now, just now, you stop everything, you reflect, and you start the journey.
This is the beginning of the school year. Let's not rock the boat with everybody.
True, but also it's a good time,
Yes,
it's a good
of
time.
course,
September
of course.
is a good time.
You're
to
relaxed from the vacation, from the summer blues. Now it's time to start reflecting and soul searching.
reflecting. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
do your daily meeting with yourself. Even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, take 5 or 10 minutes, and okay, go ahead.
Yes.
And think about it and do it every day to try to see if you are still on track. So you continue. But you have to start somewhere. So start today.
Absolutely. Well said. That's a great time now to start the closing. Hortense, thank you. Your message really reminded us that real leadership doesn't come from doing more. It comes from being more of who we are, right? For those of you who are listening and watching, remember this. Your brand isn't built by perfection. It's built by presence. By choosing to show you up with truth, clarity, and courage, even when your voice shakes. And that's the presence on stage, right?
Exactly.
If this conversation resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to reimagine your own voice, identity, or mission, this podcast is your space. Until next time, keep reimagining who you are and who you're becoming. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elie.